guys, it's Steph here with Crafty Ladybug. The lesson today is going to be on the garden rake. For today's garden rake, you're going to be needing 7 bands to complete the end of the handles color, 21 bands for your color of the handle, and 35 bands for the end of the rake. Today I'm using black, yellow for my center, and gray for the bottom of my rake. If you like this lesson and you want to make other additional items to match the garden theme, if you have not already done or seen the hoe on my channel, here I've also got the garden hoe, and also I have got the garden shovel. This is all located under my garden series playlist on my channel. If they're not there already, they will be very soon. Let's begin today's project with a couple extra items that we're going to need. To give the handle support, you will need to either place a piece of green 16 gauge wire that you can paint in the color of your choice, or you can also use a toothpick. The toothpick is just slightly shorter, but a wooden toothpick will also work if you don't have the green wire. All 3 of these garden tools do require that extra piece of wire or stability from a toothpick, so we do need a couple extra items for that. Our loom is going to be set in its offset configuration with the arrows pointing towards our body. And let's begin. We're first going to begin by making each one of these 5 little tines of the rake. So we're going to begin that by placing a single band on our loom, double twisted, and this is going to be in my gray color. And I'm just going to come down the loom with a double twisted band 3 times. I know a lot of you don't like to double twist bands, but this is the only way to get the rake small enough and make it look kind of in scale with the rest of my plan for the garden items. So you're going to do a double twist band, a double twist band, a double twist band, and then you're going to cap off this end band 4 times. If you have a problem wrapping around the band on your peg 4 times, it needs to be 4 times wrapped around, you can also use your hook. I take and I count my number 1 trip is the first poke through, twist, and here's my number 2, twist, and here's my number 3, twist, and here's my number 4. Then I stretch out that 4-time cap band over onto that bottom peg. We're going to need to do this set up 5 times, excuse me, today. So let's begin with another row. It doesn't really matter where we place it on our loom, but that was a double twist band, 1 band double twisted, 1 band double twisted, and next we need to do a 4-time cap band. Number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. And then stretch that out over your peg. And I need to do it again a 3rd time. Here's twist number 1, twist number 2, twist number 3, and a 4-time cap band. 1, 2, 3, 4. Place it over your loom. And I need to do it a total of 5 because I have 5 tines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've only got 3 up here, so I'm going to just move down the loom slightly, and I'm going to work on the remaining 2 that I need. Single band double twist, single band double twist, single band double twist, and a 4-time cap band. Number 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're just going to stretch that out over. And here we go again with a single band, double twist, single band, double twist, single band, double twist, and then a 4-time cap band here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we just stretch that out over that peg. Okay, Now we're ready to loom up these pieces. This is just going to be straight, simple looming. It is going to be tight. For those that don't like the double twist bands, you may not want to complete this project. But I'm just choosing one and I'm just going to loop straight forward, being careful to just kind of weave it out slowly. And then I'm just going to do the same thing on all 5. I'm going to take them off and I'm going to leave them on my hook because that's going to make our next process really easy. We're just going to store them on our hook in just a moment. And all I'm doing is just moving up to the next set. Basically, you're going to have 5 little mini chains. And that's going to form the tines of our rake. Just keep coming forward on the last one. Okay. And for the next process, you want to store them on your hook. So we want to store all of these on our hook because it's going to make the next couple steps really easy for us. So just place your hook in there and we're going to take off each one. We're just going to leave it stored on our hook. So there's 3 of my pieces. You can give a little tug and straighten them up if they're a little twisted. Makes life a lot easier if you do your maintenance along the way. Number 4 and number 5. And that one got really, really twisted on me when I brought it off. So I'm just going to take a second. I'm going to straighten it up because it does make a difference. If you just get your maintenance done, your bands are twisted along the way, keeps things a little neater and you have less fiddling at the end. So here we have our 5 tines, which are going to form these 5. And our next step is going to be to lay out the bands here for the top part of the beam. So we're making this sort of in 3 separate sections. Here's section number 1. We're about to work on number 2, and then we're going to work on handle number 3. So for the next area, you're going to be taking a single band. And once again, you're really not going to like me a whole lot doing this because we're back to double twist bands in this area. So take a single band and just allow it to dangle over the back edge of your top left piece. Take another single band. That's going to be our tie off band too, by the way. Take another single band, wrap it around your fingers as your double twist. Then I want you to take your hook and you're going to slide one of these tines off onto that. And then you're going to place it on your loom. And that's our link number 1. You want your little tiny thing to be pointing off to the left. Our next band is going to be just a double twist band. The next band, band number 3 coming down, is going to be a double twist with a little tine of the rake pulled over onto it, and then stretch that out across your loom. I'm just going to hold that up closer so you guys can get a better look. So here is our tines just sort of dangling in between. One that doesn't have it, one that does have it. The next one will not have a little tine. So it'll just be a single double twisted. Our next one is going to have a tine, so we need to twist that onto our fingers. Pull that through, go off our hook, and stretch that out over our loom. Forgive my hands, but that's just the nature of the beast when you're doing something so detailed like this. But I think it does turn out really cute in the end. Our next one is a double twist. And our next one is going to have a tine because I still have 2 more tines left. So basically we're just alternating a tine coming down our chain. And that one pulled right through, so I just need to restart that one again. Sorry about that, guys. So I'm just restarting with my double twist, placing my tine back on, and there we go. And I'm trying to go really slow so we don't get lost and confused. So that was a single twist. And the next one, since I still have one tine left on my hook, it's going to be a pulled through and placed on our loom. Now that we have that done, we need to cap off our bottom band here, and that is going to be with a 4-time cap band. 1, 2, 3, 4. I struggle with the 4-time cap bands on my hook. I typically prefer to do those wrapping it around my loom, but some people have a hard time figuring out how many times I wrap, so I decided to attempt to do them this way. And now we're going to review really quickly. At the top of your loom, you have your dangle band. Then you have a twist with a tine, a twist and 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 a tine, and then a 4-time cap band. Now we're ready to begin to loom our project, loom this area of our project, and that is just going to be reaching into the cap band, grabbing those bottom 2, what looks like 2 bands, and looping straight forward. You're grabbing your next 2 bands, pushing back on that little tine area. You don't want to loop it in, and come straight forward. This is just a basic, straightforward linking of a chain. You just want to grab the bottom 2 bands, or what looks like 2 bands, and come straight forward. And before we pull this project off the loom, we need to do a little bit more maintenance. And all I'm doing is just reaching in and just getting the tines and moving straight forward. So for the maintenance that we need to do, you want to take your tine and you want to make sure that it's in the center or as close to that upper peg. It's going to make life a little bit easier on our next step. So you just want to push it up towards its forward peg before you take it off the loom. We need to secure off the end of our project by reaching into that top peg, grabbing out, weaving out that dangle band, and you're just going to slip knot that off. Now we're ready to take it off the loom, and you want to use the back of your hook for this project or a skewer. It, as I said, just keeps things a little bit nicer and neater and less fiddling at the end. Some of you may pull off this project and it's going to be really curled like this way, and that's just the difference in the elasticity of your bands. But you want to just make sure that your tines are pointing down. If your links have gotten twisted, you can straighten them up a little bit. And how I straighten them up is if you take and you count 1, 2, 3, 4, and you just tuck in through that 4th one, and you pull it up and out a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. Each one of these tines, if you just do that, it's going to straighten it up a little bit for you. But here we have our rake, the bottom portion of our rake, and we want to hide our dangle band that we had. So I'm just simply going to reach in and kind of just hide that guy somewhere along the way, because it doesn't need to be poking out for the next part. So we're just going to hide that up in our creation. And one more little piece to hide. Okay. And once again, we'll just fiddle with it in the end, and we'll make sure we got it looking nice and straight. And this is a different texture of a band than I'm using from my first set that I did. The first set I used is metallic bands that are kind of stiffer, and this is just the Rainbow Loom gray, so it's a little bit has a little bit more elasticity in it, elastic in it. So we may need to support that piece with a little wire too in the end. Now we're ready to move on to our handle portion. So for our handle portion, you want to gather your little cluster of black bands. And the first thing that we're going to do is to take and wrap one band around our hook 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Then you're going to take 2 bands and you're going to pull through that opening of the 3, and then you're going to place that on the center section of your loom at the very top. We're going to do that again. A single band wrapped around your hook 3 times, and then a double band pulled through. And then we're going to place this onto our loom. And we're going to do this down our loom, including the yellow is going to be done the same way, or brown, whichever color you decided to use today. So I'm taking a yellow, wrapping it around my hook 3 times. I'm going to pull 2 yellow through and place that on my loom. One, 2, 3. 2 yellow pulled through and place that on my loom. 1, 2, 3. 2 yellow pulled through and place that on my loom. We need to come down with the yellow 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. So there's 1, 2, 3. We need to come down with that 7 times. So we're just basically recreating this little link with the loops in the center 7 times. 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 2 more to do. 1, 2, 3. Pull through and place on your loom. 1, 2, 3. Pull through and place on your loom. Okay. Our next step is going to be to switch to the gray again, and we're going to need a couple extra pieces of gray from my count at the beginning. I'm sorry about that, but we're going to do a similar thing. We're going to take 1, 2, 3. This next step though, you're not pulling through 2 bands. You have to do a double twist. So double twist onto your fingers, then pull that double twist through the 3, and then place it on your loom. And we need to do that one more time with the gray. 1, 2, 3, double twist, pull that through, and fly it off across the room. Sorry about that. Gray pulled through. I'm struggling with this one today, guys. 1, 2, 3. Gray pulled through, and then I'm going to place it on my loom. So that was 7 yellow, or whatever color you wanted your handle to be, 2 gray, and then we have 1 open peg down here at the bottom. Okay. Now we're going to pierce through and find the center peg of our tines. We're going to pierce through the top of that. So here is your center tine. Here is your link, and we're just going to pierce through that link where that center tine is. And we're going to stretch that out across that bottom band, and that is going to be our cap band. And now we're ready to loom our creation. So you want to push back everything that you just laid there and grab the bottom, what looks like 2 bands. Come forward, grabbing the bottom 2 and coming forward. I've reached my yellow, 2 and coming forward. You just want to kind of push your little pieces at the bottom. You want them as close to the other peg as possible. So if they're pulling up through, you don't want that to happen. And this is just a basic straightforward linking of the chain. Just grabbing the bottom 2 bands and pulling forward. 2 bands. Oops, and that one slid off. That's okay. I can just weave it back down on there. 2 bands pulled forward. And I forgot to do my dangle band at the beginning. So I'm just going to show you guys that if you do forget to put your dangle band there to close it off, just pierce through that center opening, grab your band, pull it up through, and slip knot it off at the end. Now we're ready to take our creation off our loom using the back of my hook. Just because there's going to be a lot of tension in some spots. And here we have got our kind of unstraightened handled rake. We just need to fix our tine and push and pull on those a little bit just to push them down. And we need to place our toothpick or our metal wire in through. So you guys are going to have kind of a flimsy looking rake. And if you take your wire or your toothpick, I'm using wire today, and you just turn your rake over, and where all those little 3 ones, those little 3 links that we put on there, if you just run this wire right through those 3 links, makes it really, really easy instead of trying to weave your toothpick or your wire in and out. That's why I do these little 3 links on the back. Pierce through and stretch it out to your liking, whatever length you feel comfortable with. And here we will have our little garden rake. I would probably suggest, if you're using the flimsier bands, that you do run a piece of wire through the end here. I think it'll make it look a lot better. And I'm probably going to do that off camera with mine, just to weave the wire in there. And I don't have my wire cutters at my access at the current moment. But here we have got our cute little garden rake. And then you can coordinate with your garden shovel and the garden hoe. Please post your creations on my Facebook page, Crafty Ladybug Rainbow Loom Creations, or visit my website, www.craftyladybugcreations.com. Hope to see you guys again soon.